there, my name's Caitlin Bandy and this is my channel BandysBooks. We're going to do a recipe and a review, and I'm very excited about this one. We're going to be reviewing A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. There's a fun recipe at the beginning of this book. Well, not really a recipe, but a mention of muffins, specifically bribery muffins. So if I had to think about it a little bit, if I was going to bribe someone, what kind of muffins would I bring to bribe them? And that is what we're going to be cooking today. If you're unfamiliar with the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, it is kind of a young adult suspense, thriller, mystery, kind of a detective series almost. At least the first book is. I believe that theme kind of continues through the second and third book, although I do hear that the tone gets a little more serious in the second and third book. So this book starts out with Pip. Pip is in high school and they're doing a capstone project. So what a capstone is like a little pod that you bury with time pieces and like mementos and stuff. And so she decides that for her capstone project, she is going to investigate a local murder. There was a murder of a girl whose body was never recovered, and then her boyfriend was blamed for the murder, and he basically went into the forest and killed himself. And she thinks he's not guilty. So she's out to prove that he is not guilty via this book. And I really love this book because of the way that it was written. There was a lot of like unique things that I felt like Holly Jackson did. And it's popular for a reason, and so we're going to discuss that throughout the review. Now for the recipe part, the bribery muffins. If I was going to bribe somebody with muffins, I think the muffins that I would bake are my chocolate chip pecan banana muffins. They are the bomb. So good, perfect for breakfast, also great in the afternoon if you're looking for a sweet pick-me-up, and definitely something that I would be sending if I wanted to impress somebody, or bribe them in this case. Let's take a look at this little segment of the book that inspired this recipe today. Pip stood before the front door and willed it open. How long had it been since she'd knocked? The seconds grew syrupy and thick as the door stared her down, each minute stretching into forever. When Pip could stand it no longer, she removed the container of muffins from under her arm and turned to walk away. The disappointment burned. Only a few steps down the path, she heard the sounds of scraping and clicking and turned back to see Ravi Singh in the doorway, his hair ruffled and his face drawn tight in confusion. "Oh," Pip said in a high-pitched voice that wasn't her own. "Sorry, I thought you told me to come back Friday. Today's Friday." Yeah, I did," Ravi said, scratching the back of his head with his eyes somewhere around Pip's ankles. "But, honestly, I thought you were just messing with me. I wasn't expecting you to actually come back." Pip tried her best not to look hurt. "I'm not messing, I promise. I'm serious." "Yeah, you seem like the serious type." The back of his head must have been exponentially itchy, or maybe Ravi Singh's itchy head was the equivalent of Pip's over-explaining. "I'm irrationally serious," Pip smiled, holding the Tupperware out to him. "And I made muffins." "Like bribery muffins?" That's what the recipe said, yeah. Ravi's mouth twitched, not quite a smile. Pip only then appreciated how hard his life must be in this town. The specter of his dead brother reflected it on his own face. It's no wonder smiling was hard for him. So there you have it. To get the interview with the suspected murderer's brother, she brings bribery muffins. And I think they have to be damn good muffins for her to get her foot in the door. So let's make some damn good muffins and let's talk about the book. For this recipe, we're just going to need a handful of ingredients. We have sugar, all-purpose flour, we're going to have bananas, and in this case, I know they look gross, but the mushier and blacker, the better. Like, you want them to be almost liquefied. Minus this one random banana, because I didn't have 4 liquefied ones. We have pecans, vanilla bean paste. If you don't have vanilla bean paste, you can certainly use vanilla extract. Semi-sweet chocolate chips, unsalted butter, 3 eggs, baking soda, and some salt. And for equipment, we just need a handful of things. We're going to need a mixing bowl, a whisk and a spatula, a measuring cup and some measuring spoons, and a muffin tin. If you'd like, you can use papers in your muffin tin. In this case, I think I'm just going to grease the tin really well and put the muffins straight in. So to start our bribery muffins, we're first going to pulverize our bananas. So just rip these suckers open. Again, ideally you would be using less firm bananas, but 1 firm banana is not going to mess this up because we have 3 really mushy, liquidy, gross bananas. I know that sounds strange, but I promise you that banana bread, banana muffins, all of that, when they say to use old bananas, this is what they're talking about. Like liquefied, syrupy bananas that you would never want to eat, but that will make you some friggin' delicious bread. So A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Let's get into it. Let's talk about the characters first. I adored Pip, the main character in this book. She is inquisitive, she's smart, she is assertive, she takes risks, but she also takes the repercussions of those risks very seriously. When things start to go wrong in her investigation and she starts to potentially put people in danger, she really pays attention and backs off. I felt like her reactions to her scenarios were super realistic. So we're just gonna mash these bananas up. I'm gonna just use my hands. You could use a potato masher if you wanted. And I think that the book was really as successful as it is because Pip is such a well fleshed out character. She feels like a real person. She doesn't feel fake or made up. Like, she feels like she would have been your friend in high school. I really like that about her. And then Ravi, who kind of turns into her sidekick throughout the book, is also really likable. He is the brother of the suspect in the murder. And she initially goes to interview him, and when he finds out that she believes that his brother is innocent, he kind of jumps in and wants to help her investigation. So that's basically what we want, is kind of a puree of banana with little chunks. I'm gonna wash my hands and then we'll jump into the next part. Okay, so now that we have our banana milkshake over here, we're gonna mix in some sugar. We're gonna do 1 cup of sugar. One cup of sugar. I'm gonna use granulated sugar here, not brown sugar. And then we're gonna do some vanilla bean paste. Just a little splash of that. Or if you're gonna use vanilla extract, I would say maybe like 2 teaspoons. And then we're gonna add in 2 eggs. Okay, 1 egg, 2 eggs. And we're just gonna mix this until it is combined. So while we're mixing this, let's talk about Ravi some more. So Ravi is immediately likable and sympathetic. It's really hard to imagine someone being stuck in a community where their brother was suspected of murdering someone. And then that brother also took their life. And so you can imagine like all the bullying and teasing and harassment he and his family have been through. So you immediately feel sympathetic for him. He comes across very likable. Pip's parents are kind of interesting. I find that they're kind of like what I would equate to free-range parents. They pretty much let Pip do her thing as long as she's not getting into trouble. So they kind of ask her like what's going on in her world, but they're not super involved, nor are they super like rigid about what she does. And in fairness, she's pretty responsible, or at least she seems to be so. So I don't think that they have like any real cause for concern. I will say that the characters that are like the bad characters did seem a little bit like obvious in specific ways. There are reasons immediately that you kind of start to suspect that they might not be on the straight and narrow. Not necessarily that they're the murderers, but you kind of get an inkling that there's maybe a little more going on than initially expected. And I don't know. It was, all in all, I thought the characterization was pretty good. I thought that it made a lot of sense for who the characters are supposed to be and for the age group that the book is being written for. Next, we're going to add our dry ingredients to our wet ingredients here. So we're going to be adding 2 cups of flour. Nice even cups. 2 teaspoons of baking soda. 1, 2, and just a pinch of salt to balance out all the sweet. Ooh, that's more than I needed. Throw some over your shoulder for good luck. We're just gonna go ahead and mix this batter. With muffins, you definitely do not want to over mix the batter just until they are combined, because if you over mix, you will end up with the toughest muffins you've ever had. So the plot of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder is pretty straightforward, but also, again, enjoyable. I loved seeing Pip investigate this murder, investigate the town that she's in, and her classmates, and like what was going on with them. It was very well done. Like, she's not being a busybody and like gossipy. She's genuinely interested in the well-being of her town and her classmates, and she has some pretty conclusive proof surrounding her theories before she even starts the investigation, which I really liked. she's not just going in on a hunch. She's like really thought things through and has some concrete leads and directions to go before she starts just like bringing up old dirt. I thought that was really well done. I will say that some of the dramatic parts of the story maybe seem to get like a little bit over the top, just slightly. Nothing really crazy, still really fun, really enjoyable. And the conclusion of the story felt very satisfying for me. I think that this was a really well done young adult mystery. And while it feels young adult, it doesn't feel too young for an adult to enjoy. So if you are into a good mystery, something that's going to be just a fun, fast, easy read, this might be a really great series. And if you have a teenager and they also like to read, this would be a good series to share with them as well. So to finish off our Bribery Muffins, you can see that we have mixed our batter. And now the last ingredient that we're going to add is our stick of butter. We have melted that down. Get all that butter out. And we're just going to whisk that in, make sure it is well combined. That helps kind of smooth out some of the lumps. And that is the consistency that we want our batter to be. So now that we have our batter made, we're going to switch from a whisk to a spatula, and we're going to add in our pecans and chocolate chips and make these muffins even more delicious than they already are. All right, now to add that extra level of deliciousness to our Bribery Muffins, we're going to add some pecans. If you do not like pecans, you could certainly do walnuts, almonds, like whatever you like. I like a generous amount because I do like a lot of crunch in my muffins. I am very big on texture. These are going to be nice and springy and soft and delicious, and then we'll have the gooiness from the chocolate chips. So these pecans bring a little bit of crunchy texture. And then we're using semi-sweet chocolate chips. When I say liberally sprinkled chocolate chips, I mean pretty much use the whole bag. Because can you ever have too much chocolate? I don't think so. And then we're just going to take our spatula and incorporate the goodies. Oh my gosh, this looks fantastic. It smells so good too. That banana smell is just permeating the air right now. What happens when those bananas get all black and soft like that is that the sugar is really concentrating, and that's why they make such good banana bread, and they're like so fragrant at that point is because of that concentration of sugar. So just don't be scared about the black mushy bananas. And this is what our batter looks like. So many chocolate chips, so many pecans, and so much beautiful banana batter. I feel like I would do a lot of dirty things for these muffins. These are the perfect Bribery Muffins. So while we've been making the batter, I've had my oven preheating to 350 degrees. In fact, I think you might have even heard it beep ready during the intro. So just a note to yourself, you're going to want to put it at 350. I am now going to brush our muffin cups with a little bit of coconut oil. You could certainly use butter, or if you have pan spray, you could use pan spray. I don't typically keep pan spray in my house. Personally, I usually will just use a little bit of coconut oil or a little bit of butter, depending on what I am doing. So we just want to make sure those are nice and shiny. They don't need to have like pools of oil in them or anything, because we're not trying to fry the bottom of the cupcake. We just want to make sure that they're well greased so our cupcakes do not stick. So now that our muffin cups are greased up, we're going to take a little spoonful of batter. And you don't want to fill these like all the way completely full. You just want to fill them like a little bit below the line, because they are going to puff up. And if you fill them all the way to the top, they're going to overflow and you're going to have some weird shaped muffins. They'll still taste delicious, and you still might potentially be able to bribe someone with them, but they won't be as aesthetically pleasing. So fill those muffin cups about 3/4 of a way. I'm so excited to eat these later. They're gonna be so good. Okay, almost there. And this will probably make about 24 muffins of this size, unless you're doing like the really gigantic muffins, and then it might make like 12 maybe. I don't ever do this recipe with the really gigantic muffins because this is the size of muffin tray that I have. So I'm not 100% sure on that. But I suspect that it'll make about 12. All right, so our muffin cups are filled. We're just gonna clean up those little drip marks there. And I think we're good to go into the oven. All right, so these are gonna go into the oven. We're gonna put them kind of in the middle there, just so that they don't get too hot on top or on the bottom. And we're gonna cook for about 10 to 12 minutes. After that, we'll check them out, give them a spin, see how well they're cooking, and we'll judge how much longer they need from there. Probably they'll need another 10 to 12 minutes, and then they should be fully cooked, and we can try one of these bad boys out. I cannot wait. So it's been about 12 minutes. The muffins are smelling all delicious and muffiny. Like, I can smell the butter and the sugar and the bananas and everything working its magic in the oven. We're just gonna take a quick peek in, see how far along in the cooking process they are, give them a little spin and make sure they're comfortable and happy and getting evenly cooked. And then we're gonna leave them alone for another 10 minutes probably. So, oh yeah, these look beautiful. You can see that they're turning a nice golden brown around the edges, and they're still a little soft in the center, so they need just a bit more time. We're gonna give them a nice little twist to make sure that they get even coloring, and then we're gonna pop them back in there. And we'll be back in about 10 minutes to consume as many of these muffins as possible. So our muffins are, I believe, ready to come out. Yep, they are nice and golden brown. Look at those beauties. Nice round top, not overfilling the muffin cup. Properly. And as you can see, when we touch them, they're firm. I mean, they have a little bit of give, like any hot bread would, but it's not like mushy or soft. And they are brown all the way through. These smell so friggin' good. I cannot wait to bite into one. Let's let these cool for just a minute or two. I'll pull them out of the pan. We will try one, wrap up the video, and then eventually I'll bake this other half. All right, guys, so we have our first batch of our Bribery Muffins. As you can see, I still have batter in the bowl behind me. I'm going to be baking another batch so that Oz has a bunch to take to work for friends. But for now, to do our final taste and like our wrap up on the video, here are 12 beautiful muffins from our first batch, and I'm gonna try one. But before I do, let me just say, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, again, a really enjoyable book, especially if you like just the cute, fun mystery. I guess I shouldn't call it cute because it's about people like being murdered and killing themselves and stuff, but it is a fun, enjoyable read. It's even a little bit humorous at points. I found the characters to be very realistic. I found the plot to be engaging, and it's very age appropriate. So if you have a teen that might be interested in this, this is a great series to get them into. But again, as an adult, you'll probably enjoy it as well. I think Holly Jackson is an excellent writer, and I cannot wait to see where she goes after this series. So that being said, let's go ahead and try one of these Bribery Muffins and see what we might do to get one. All right, so these are still a little bit hot. First of all, like nice, even color all the way around. And then, look at that. When you break them open, gooey, delicious, chocolate, pecans, everything that you want in a muffin. That is so good. Sorry, it's a little bit hot, but chocolate, crunch from the pecans, nice crisp outer layer, soft and gooey in the middle. Not like as sweet as you would imagine. Like, they're definitely sweet, but not so sweet that you feel like you're gonna have a toothache. Oh. Yeah. Yes, yes, yes. If I was gonna bribe someone, this is literally what I would be bribing them with. I think you should take these anytime you need to bribe someone. So now that you know the magic secret to bribery, I'm gonna leave you. I think Oz wants to try one of these muffins because he's been standing here waiting while I've been cooking. So I'm gonna wrap it up for tonight. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below, what is your favorite muffin flavor? Would these do the trick in bribery for you, or would you want like blueberry or cranberry orange or something else? And if you're not already subscribed to this channel, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, it's right down below, and we'll see you in the next video. Again, I'm Caitlin Bandy. This is my channel, BandysBooks. Thanks for joining. Bye.
Well, I'm glad it's not that sweet, but you feel the chocolate flavor with the pecan and the banana at the end of the, when you put it all in.
At the end of the bite, you feel the banana?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think? Would they work to bribe you?
Oh yeah. can get married now.
Oh, okay. There you have it. Boyfriend approved and tested.